thought I'd do a quick vertical live. Had a little interesting information today. And this is a tip that comes directly from something I'm working on right now, an audition tip, a quick audition tip. I thought I would talk about this. I haven't talked about this from an updated perspective from my own audition. I received a casting audition call today to read for a pretty interesting role in independent film. And I thought I would talk just a little tip about my process when I very first receive my casting breakdown. So what I do, this is a tip to stay organized for your acting casting breakdowns. So what I normally do when I first receive a breakdown came through Actors Access. So I follow the link, obviously. I go look at the role. And one of the first things on Actors Access that they allow you to do is you can see the audition sides, you can see the information from the casting director. And so what I always do first is I read through all the information to see what the project is, what it's about, to see if it's something that I want to be involved in. Then I look at the sides. So I download the sides, and the sides are part of the script that the casting director wants you to read for the self-tape audition. So once I read the sides, and I find that it's something that I'm interested in doing, that a character I'm willing to play, then what I do is I create a folder on my desktop, number one. I name it the name of the project. And then I download the audition announcement that came through the email. I download the audition information, which is more detailed information from Actors Access, and I put that in the folder because that tells you who the director is, who the producers are, what type of project it is, where they plan to shoot, what the pay rate is. It gives you all the details on the project. So I download that and I put that in the folder also. Then I download the sides, which is the part of the audition they want you to read from. And then I also look at that other information and I pull out the information about the slate because that's really important. For instance, this project, they want me to slate my name, my height, my location, and whether I'm in the union or not. And they want the slate submitted as a separate video file. I think that's what it said. So that's why I pull out the slate information and I create that as a separate document. And all these documents I put inside the folder that's labeled for this project. And that's how I stay organized. Sometimes I get a lot of auditions, so I want to keep them organized. And sometimes when you submit auditions, you don't hear back from it for a few months. Most of the time you hear back right away within a few days or at least a week. But sometimes it takes a while to find out, if you are being considered, if they want you to call you back. So I keep all my auditions in separate folders named by the project. So once that's done, then I now this is the biggest part of the tip and how to be organized to prepare for your audition. The next step, I take the sides, and usually they come in as a PDF file of the script. And like, for instance, this one was probably about 3 pages of a script, standard script format, a PDF. So what I do is I copy all that information out and I put it into a Word document. And the reason I do that is because as I'm reading through the dialogue, I can make notes to myself, maybe where I want to pause, if there's any kind of special gestures that go with the script, I can make notes for myself that I can use to rehearse. So that's the next step. I pull the information out, and I get rid of all the screen direction, and I just focus in on the character's dialogue. And so after I have that cleaned up, then I make a duplicate copy for my reader who's going to read with me. Because most of the time when you do these auditions, they want you to read with someone off camera. So you need to have dialogue sheet, script, sides for the reader also. So the reader can respond to you in a timely manner. The reader's not looking through a whole bunch of screen direction to see where their next line is. So I make both of these documents clean and clear, and I focus just on the text. And if there's any special notes, like for instance, in this one, I have a scene, it's a role of a king. It's a fantasy kind of movie. And it's a role of a king. So at one point, someone is speaking, and he holds his hand up like this to silence them. And So that's a gesture that has to be in there because that's part of the character. And that's something that would be important for the casting person, director to see that I remembered to do that little bit. So just those little bits like that, they're always added in. And so I pull those out. So after I've done all that, then I go through the dialogue and I highlight with a yellow highlighter, but I do it within the Word document for the reader so that the reader can see their lines effectively. Because sometimes when you're doing these auditions, they want you to have a good reader also. They don't want the reader to be stumbling over the lines because you as the actor they're interested in, can't give a interesting performance if the reader is stumbling over the lines or the reader is missing lines or missing cue points. So you make it easy for the reader also to read with you. And then I make those both documents, one for myself and one for the reader. And then I start rehearsing my lines. So I go through my lines and I mark it up any kind of way. That's why I like to use the Word document, because I can mark that up any way I need to as far as my performance goes. You know, where I want to take pauses, where I think there should be a pause, where I think there might be some kind of comment or something like that. So it's much more flexible if you, especially when there's a lot of dialogue. This one has a lot of dialogue. So you can easily rehearse, make notes to yourself, and that's why I create these separate rehearsal documents. So that's just a little tip. If you're reading for something and the audition has a lot of dialogue and you want to, you know, it's something that you write for and you want to take that little extra time to prepare, I say create a separate document from the sides and mark it up. And when I say mark it up, you put in where you would take pauses, where you might, you know, anything. You don't want to go overboard, but you want to give yourself notes as you're reading through it. Any words that you might need to check the pronunciation. There's a couple of words in here that I want to check the pronunciation. So you give yourself those little notes. And then when you're doing the audition, you know, it sticks in your head. You work on it a bit. This one is due on Tuesday. So I'm going to work on it this weekend. I'm probably going to work on it today, and then I'll probably do it sometime tomorrow evening. I like to get my auditions in as soon as possible, but I work on it as long as necessary to give it a good performance. And it also depends on the amount of time they give you. If they give you a week or 2 weeks, then I'll slow down a little bit and I'll take more time and I'll work on it if it's a lot of dialogue. Sometimes if it's a very little bit of dialogue, it's a small supporting role and the character fits me perfectly, I'll work on a shorter amount of time and just go ahead and do it. But the tip is prepare your audition material like you already have the role and then work on it. Do the best you can, do your self-tape, do it a couple of times, look at it, evaluate it, and send it in. So that's my tip for preparing for a self-tape audition. And that's just my technique. What I always recommend people is find out different techniques and find out what works for you and create your own audition technique. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to work on that today. I might do a little bit of editing for the YouTube channel. Please check out the channel. I've added some new content today in the shorts. I'm thinking about shooting something today. There's something in my head. Actually, I might go ahead and do a full-fledged video, I think I will, on this process that I'm giving you this little short. So maybe check back tomorrow. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a full-fledged video about how I break down my audition and give you ideas on how to use your own technique to break down when you're preparing to audition for a self-tape. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I appreciate it. Tomorrow is Sunday Live at noon Pacific time, LA time. I'll be here. Stop by. I'll answer your questions about acting, directing, or editing, and I look forward to it. I'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the channel doing a live stream. You'll also find me in the vertical feed here. I like to do the live question and answer here because I meet a lot of other people who don't know about my channel. I had started doing it only on my channel, horizontal live, but I get a better response doing here on the vertical live. So I'll be here tomorrow at noon and I'll do my question and answer, acting, directing, and editing. But please go check out my channel, watch some of my playlists, and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it. And I will see you again tomorrow at noon Pacific time, California time. Thank you. See you later.